Hey everyone, how are you? Hope you are doing well. So do me a favor before we get started. I need for you to hit this like button. If you are not a subscriber, I need for you to hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. So today we're going to talk about Blackrock and their upcoming Ethereum ETF. So Blackrock is the largest asset management company. They hold $10 trillion worth of assets, and they have applied for an Ethereum ETF, a spot Ethereum ETF. So we are waiting to see if they will get approval from the SEC. They have to go through the SEC, and we will know by sometime in January 2024. So be looking out for that ETF, which will be new. And so BlackRock, they have a subsidiary company, iShares, which holds $2.3 trillion in assets. The Ethereum ETF, upon approval, it will have a custodian. A custodian is the entity that holds and protects the asset. So the custodian will be Coinbase, and also a substantial amount will be in cold storage. So, as far as the ETF goes, you would have to contact the company to see how their conversion works because there is a possibility that they will not allow you to just withdraw your money whenever you want. So, you would have to look into that to see about that. As far as Ethereum ETFs, the ETF would be a lot safer than just leaving it on the blockchain. You would have a better protection, better protection against things like fraud and bankruptcy. However, I would still be careful and only put in the amount of money that I am willing to lose, right? So some people are more willing to lose than others, right? So even though it would be safer in regards to fraud and bankruptcy, it still does not guarantee that the money could possibly go back to zero. So only put in what you are willing to lose as far as it goes with these cryptos. On the other hand, there are people who are taking big risks out here and they're getting big rewards as a result. So in the last video, I mentioned that 100,000 people who put money into Bitcoin became millionaires. So I read that in an article and I thought that was very interesting because just to see how quiet people are. So you took a risk and you put huge amounts of money in Bitcoin. Now the media is going to tell you about all these people that lost money. Like they lost money due to fraud. They lost money by putting it onto faulty centralized exchanges. However, there was a subsegment of the population that put their money in Bitcoin and became millionaires as a result of that. And I was discussing that yesterday in an article that I read. Um, so I just thought that was very interesting how quiet people are once you cross that millionaire line. So they did that through Bitcoin, and I'm quite sure that people have done it through all the different types of cryptos, Ethereum, the altcoins out here. There are people out here mining, doing all sorts of things. But I just think it's interesting how quiet people are once they cross the millionaire line. And so I understand now why people remain quiet. So I didn't understand why that was a secret for a long time, but now I understand why that is a secret crossing this millionaire line. So now my next question is why people don't help anyone. Why you don't help anyone. And so um, if you have the answer to that, go ahead and let me know. Why do wealthy people not help anyone? So answer that question. You can leave it in the comments, or if you choose not to do that, sometimes I can hear you talking on your various channels, like your radio stations, your podcasts. Sometimes I can hear you talking. So answer that for me. I understand why people are quiet once you cross this millionaire line. So now answer me why you don't help anyone. I'll be interested to know that. Okay. So we are awaiting this approval of the spot Ethereum ETF. They are predicting that when the ETF is approved, people will feel more comfortable putting their money into cryptocurrency. Uh, as of yet, it's like a speculative asset, but they are predicting that people will feel more comfortable, which will result in more people piling into it. And they are predicting that they will increase the price of the cryptos as a result, right? So currently, ETF is sitting at $2,058.17 currently. So it is up by 32% over the past month. So it has been increasing for people who are in crypto. They have saw an increase. It's rising. People who trade crypto have been making profit. So some people are trading crypto, and others are just buying whatever they feel comfortable with and letting it sit there. Some people are just buying a little bit, and then other people are bullish on it, right? So this is what is going on. We are still awaiting for its approval, and we will know something in January. As far as the SEC, looking through all the documents and getting the spot Ethereum ETF approved. Now, as far as the expense ratio, we do want to check that out and see what the expense ratio is. It is preferable that it is lower. So, like the higher the expense ratio, that means that you're paying more money in fees. So your expense ratio, if you have a high expense ratio, then you're paying more money in fees. So it's better to have a lower expense ratio, something around 0.5 or lower is good. And just to give you an estimate of what's going on with the expense ratio, say that you're in something that has a 1% expense ratio. Say that you put $100,000 in. This is hypothetical. $100,000 in with an 8% return and a 1% expense ratio. So after 30 years, you would have paid in fees $245,000. So $250,000 in fees. So this expense ratio is a little thing that people don't usually notice, but it's chipping away at your money. So looking at that expense ratio, what is it? Is it 1%? Is it 0.03%? Is it 0.5%? So that is the 1% expense ratio. You're paying about $245,000 in fees over a 30-year period with a 1% expense ratio. But you take that down to 0.03% using the same numbers, and your fees over the 30 years would be 8,351. So looking at that little thing called the expense ratio, it's not noticeable, but you want that as low as possible because a low expense ratio means you're paying less fees. So you want more money in the account and less money in fees. And you do that by having a low expense ratio. Something preferably 0.5 or lower, like a 0.03% expense ratio. So 1%, that's a little bit too high. So just something to keep in mind, something to keep in mind. And we are awaiting the spot Ethereum ETF, and we will all know something around January 2024. So do me a favor before you leave. I need for you to hit this like button. If you are not a subscriber, I need for you to hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you won't miss an episode. Also, leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. What do you think about crypto in general? What do you think about these ETFs? All right, thank you for watching. Before you leave, hit that like button. All right, have a good rest of your night. Bye for now.